Okay, I'd like to call to order the Audit Committee meeting for the month of September. I need a motion to approve the minutes as been submitted. Second, please. All in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Okay, there is no Audit Committee meeting scheduled for October. And the next Audit Committee meeting is scheduled for November the 16th, 2009. The November agenda will include the annual review of the Audit Committee Charter, a review of the information system security and controls by the agency, CIOs, a briefing from Deloitte & Touche on their audit approach for the 2009 year-end audit, and a status report on the progress at the MTA Business Service Center. Next thing on the agenda, I'd like to have Len come up and give us an update on the Business Service Center.
Good afternoon, everybody. I just want to follow up right off the top. The BSC is still on schedule to open its doors on January 1st, 2011. Systems are going well. We're at we finished our fit gap analysis. We're now doing our functional and system design work, which is scheduled to end in October, and we're going into build in November. So we're a little more than a year away. It's going very fast. We're doing a great job, and everything is right on schedule to do what we're supposed to do in phase 1 and 2. I want to give a big thank you to the agencies, their SMEs, their subject matter experts have been with us. They were with us again now to the design phase, and they're really working hard with us, and they've become part of the team. So as far as implementation, we're right on schedule. I don't see any major problems at all with implementation. Mike and his staff have been a tremendous help to us, so I'd like to thank him as well. On the real estate, we are now looking with MTA Real Estate for where we're going to work for the next 4 to 5 years until our permanent home is complete and ready to go. We've looked at about 15 different areas, including where we are now for additional real estate floor above us. We've narrowed it down to about 4 or 5, 6 different locations, and we're getting some very great offers on pricing. It's amazing. I can't share that right now with you. I will as soon as we get it, but this is fully ready to move in with furniture, with cabling, everything, and every location we've seen is very, very affordable. So we're looking for a temporary home for about 4 to 5 years, and we think we'll have no problem in finding that. We need that ready by June, because by June our system will be ready for full testing. Right now, like I said, we're on schedule. So we want to test and do dress rehearsals and everything by June, July, through the end of the year to be ready to open our doors. So that's going very well. We need about 500 seats because that's what we'll be at by the time we open our doors. And that's without any new business. That's just the current scope that we're going live with. Workforce transition, we are just wrapping up a full plan of how we will transition employees from the agencies to the BSC. We have a team of all agency representatives doing that, vice presidents of procurement and HR and finance. And that is just about wrapped up. We will be sending that to the presidents early October, but they've already been briefed on it, and that'll be in place, and we will start communicating with the employees very soon about what's going on, the timelines, and everything else. The procurement review panel is doing very well. I met today with Andrew. This was my 6th month of doing that. He's very delighted, actually to a point where he said, I'm seeing more joint procurements. Do you have anything you want to tell me? And we're right on schedule. We are working very closely with them. Roy Parks and my staff and Mike's 2 auditors are doing great on doing that. We're actually looking to now take that and automate it. We are looking at building a small little system that will automate that function and try to expedite it. So rather than getting the procurement information as soon as they do a requisition, we want to see it while they're doing the planning stages. So we're working with the agency directors of procurement and my IT staff, and we're designing a little system that we'll put in place hopefully in the next 5 or 6 months, which we will use continuous even later on if business changes for us. Staffing, I'm up to about 80%, which is much better than I was the last time I was here. We were only at 50, and it is a big difference. You could see things happening a lot quicker. It's a combination of agency staff from the agencies that we've hired versus some outside people we brought in, so it's a very good mixture. And we have 20% to go, and that 20% is still in IT. We're still about 19 people short in IT, and we have those jobs all posted. We're interviewing. So hopefully, I would say by the end of October, we should be fully staffed and ready and rocking and rolling. So any questions? We're in great shape.
Great. Great story. Any questions?
Just a commendation. Great work. Keep it up.
Thank you. We will do. The team does a great job. They really do. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, now I'd like Glenn from Deloitte and Touche to come up along with Gary and Mike to discuss the second quarter financial statement. I didn't mean to forget you, Dave. I just didn't know whether.
How can you forget him? He's back.
We have completed our review procedures of the financial statements for the MTA for the quarter.
Mike.
We have completed our review procedures of the financial statements for of the MTA for the quarter ended June 30 of this year. We expect to date our report on or about September the 16th. As you know, a review is more limited than an audit, which consists principally of discussions with management concerning the financial statements, issues within the financial statements. And management includes the controllers, CFO, general counsel, and it also includes some analytical procedures that relates to the financial statements concerning past trends and concerning future trends. And we have completed those. Based upon those procedures, we will be issuing our report upon your approval.
Well, we just got them today, so I haven't had
Really?
a chance to read the drafts. But I think we'd like to get this on our website.
Well, what we do is as soon as they're approved by the audit committee,
Right.
We then put them up on the website immediately.
Okay. Can I get a motion to accept as been presented?
Seconded.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we're all set. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the 2008 single audit reports.
Oh, by the way, can I have a minute? There is one thing that I do need to mention to bring to the attention of the audit committee before we get into the single audit. The Federal Department of Transportation is undertaking a process that's actually looking at financial statements or financial matters or grants of transportation entities around the country. They have contracted with a firm, Deloitte and Touche, to help them with that work. It basically consists of performing single audit type procedures of amounts received by transit agencies. You were one of the organizations that was selected to have certain of your transactions reviewed. I have insisted with the Department of Transportation, because it actually is another group within Deloitte performing that has the contract, but I have insisted that work, since it's audit-like work, be performed by us in connection with your single audit. Actually, it's the same procedures we perform in the single audit. There's no reason to have other people in here performing another review of the same information, performing the same procedures. So I'm just informing that we will do that. And the issue is that information will be shared. No.
Why not?
It's still a test work.
My experience of audits by other levels of government of money spent by agencies is that generally, a successful audit doesn't leave the agency with the amount of money it thought it had.
No, Mark, well, that's a little bit of the reason that, by the way, there were four audit clients that were selected as part of this process. And, you know, since I'm in a position with the firm to deal with those, I mean, the conclusion is that you're right. Generally, federal auditors have a different look at things. But their rules, by the way, their procedures are exactly the same procedures that we will perform anyway. I mean, they are exact. I mean, the criteria for their review is a thing called the compliance supplement. That's what we use when we perform your audit. So it is exactly the same process that we will perform. The only thing that will be different is this information will be provided, and it would be provided anyway, to the Department of Transportation at a different time than it normally would be provided. But the procedures are exact. That's why I'm insisting that we perform as part of the audit.
So this is as part of the single audit.
Part of the single audit that we already perform for you guys.
Part of your engagement.
And it's more efficient.
And it's not in any way, shape, or form any sort of a conflict of interest? You're
No.
working for the
No,
federal
it's still a
government, you're
test.
also...
We're doing an audit. We can always do audits.
Deloitte would be doing it, right, David?
Right.
On behalf of the federal government, Deloitte was engaged to do it anyways, what David's
Right.
saying.
And we do, by the way, we do the single audit on behalf of the federal government.
But you're doing one audit for two different clients now.
No. By the way, the federal government has always been a client of the single audit.
I understand that the federal,
I
understand they've been they
Right.
always get it.
By the way, the masters are the same. There's no difference. I mean, there's absolutely, basically consulted with a lot of people, from a professional standpoint of view. Actually, we're concerned more the other way in having two sets of eyes look at the same information and potentially have a problem. And, with the same firm. And the issue is, from my standpoint of view, it's you are better served having us do it. The same team. You really are. You really are better served having us do it.
That may be true, but you're saying that an audit's an audit's an audit's. I mean, that's not true. I mean, in that there are frequently federal audits where the audit is verifying documentation of expenses of one kind or another that justify the drawdown of federal funding, where the scope of the audit and the object of the audit are very often very contrary to the interests of the entity being audited. What you seem to be saying here is that this is not just any old audit, that this is in fact an audit that is defined to use the same parameters as the single audit itself. Is that what you've said?
That's correct. I mean, the same compliance procedure is actually the same, Mark. Actually, between
Well, I mean,
you
if
and
you can just say yes to my
the
question.
answer is yes.
But that's not any old audit. That is a very specific kind of audit with very specific parameters. And, okay. But that's not just the sort of the blanket word audit as a safety.
Let me say this. Yes, it is, because we're already. Let me finish. I'm not. The answer is that we would do that as part of the single audit.
You should leave it as yes.
Yes,
if that's true.
it is true.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Yeah, we want to review the single audits now.
Sure.
That-
And I read through the single audit, and I found out that there's only one question asked.
Well, I'll go through. Terrific. Thank you. We have completed our audit of the MTA's consolidated schedule of federal awards for the year ended December 31st, 2008, in accordance with both government auditing standards and the compliance requirements described in the U.S. Office of Management Budget Circular A-133. You have those financials in your audit committee package, and what I'd like to do is just briefly touch on the two reports that you previously have not seen that are included in this particular package. The first one is on page 112 and 113 of your package, respectively. And this is the report on internal control over financial reporting and on compliance and other matters in accordance with government auditing standards. Within that report, we state that we did not identify any deficiencies in internal control over financial reporting that we consider to be a material weakness. We also state that the results of our test disclose no instances of noncompliance or other matters that are required to be reported under government auditing standards. However, we did previously note in our management letter other matters that were already conveyed to you, the audit committee members. So that's the first report. And the second report that you're referring to, Mr. Chairman, is on page 114 and 115 of your audit committee booklet. And that's the report on compliance with requirements applicable to each major program and on internal control in accordance with OMB Circular A-133. And as you noted earlier, there was one finding. It was what we refer to as an instance of noncompliance with the requirements of OMB Circular 133. We addressed that finding with management. Management has responded. The response is included on page 127 of your audit committee package, and we are comfortable with management's response. At this time, I'd be happy to answer any other questions you might have regarding the single audit. Management does a really nice job with preparing the schedule of federal awards, and they work well with the federal government as well, as they always have over the years, because the federal government does come in a lot to headquarters where a lot of the files are maintained, and they do maintain a good working relationship. So. Thank you.
Good afternoon. First of all, Michael Hayes could not be here today, so he would like to apologize. And this is the reason why I will be presenting our results for the A133 audit. So you've been provided with the A133 single audit reports for the New York City Transit and the Long Island Bus for the year ending 2008. We have performed our audit procedures in conjunction with Deloitte, as they refer to us in their reports, and we found no findings, and we have received full cooperations and excellent cooperations from management. So if you have any question on the reports, I would be more than happy to discuss them.
These audits sound so much better when they're delivered with a French accent, don't they?
Next, the committee will acknowledge that the MTA Board's appointment of Deloitte & Touche as the independent auditor for the MTA headquarters and all other agencies. This is the first year of a 7-year contract, and in subsequent years, key agency financial staff will advise the committee in September of their recommendations whether to renew that option or not. The committee has also been provided with a copy of Deloitte & Touche's most recent internal audit, internal quality control review, copies of which are maintained in MTA Audit Services files. And we need a vote just to appoint them the auditors for 2009.
We've already selected them and hired them. They're on contract, and this is an additional ritual that they require.
I guess.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Just say yes.
Good.
Yeah, the committee has also been provided with a copy of a proposed report to the board from the Audit Committee Chair relating to the activities of the Audit Committee for the 12 months ended July '09. This report is prepared in compliance with the MTA Audit Committee Charter and is consistent with the report issued to the board last year. And I need a vote to accept that has been submitted. Second? All in favor? Anybody against? Carried. I'd like to have a motion to go into executive session to discuss a number of audit issues involving legal and personal matters. All in favor? Yes. Clear the room, please.